what she wanted. So she was just upset that I couldn't be the girl, the daughter, where in the past I let her do what she wanted, me to do, like dress me up, be the doll, get compliments from others, like how great she's well put together, because now she can't do that. And I think because she's also aging, she was so upset.
Yeah, I mean, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. I am your host, David So, and we have a very special guest. We have Mariel Song, everybody.
Hi, everybody. お久しぶりです。
Oh, yes. Can you bring the mic a little closer to your face, please?
お久しぶりです。これでいいですか? Is this okay?
Maybe
higher?
이뜨고만 네. 혼돈이 가사 이뜨고만 도저버리가
What the heck was that?
Hey,
It's like staccato.
Japanese, baby. That's what Japanese sounds like.
You learn Japanese. You should know.
You know
some
what?
by
You know
now.
what the funny thing is? I actually downloaded an app to teach me Japanese. I've been doing it every day.
Mm-hmm.
The weird thing is, I didn't realize how much Japanese I know. Because the first 30 lessons, I breezed right through it in a day. I'm like, oh wait, I know all these words. I can understand it. I just don't know when to speak it. So it was throwing me off. I'm like, okay, next. Because, at the end of every lesson, you have a test. And it was 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. I'm like, oh, I understand this, but I can't speak it. So I have to go back and start applying the speaking part.
You gotta practice. That's why you have me. Come on now. I do it every day with you.
You're going to Asian mom me. That's what I'm scared of. Speaking of Asian moms, dude, this weekend was so funny. Here's the thing, guys. So since Mariel and I have been together, right? Like, I'm pretty sure everybody knows that when you're in a relationship, especially if you're, engaged or you're married or whatever, there's this period of awkwardness between whether it's the son or the daughter or whatever, when you kind of get together with in-laws, right? And I could tell things are getting a little more comfortable between us because now her mom shits on her in front of me. So
that was your first time experiencing.
That was my first time.
Right?
She's never done that in front of me before. She'll do that to the side or she'll wait after and talk to you about it on the phone.
Yeah.
Which I was like, for you, it was a bad experience. For me, it was like, oh, I'm family.
No way.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing was, so
God.
here's the funny thing. Her dad was in a great mood.
I know he was.
And so it was literally a sitcom moment because after we had this dinner, and she'll explain what happened after, but it was that moment where the two men start to bond a little more because the wives are crazy.
The wives or the wife?
So there was this moment.
Excuse me, I'm not part of that.
But I remember when I was in the car and I was trying to ask Mariel in my mind what was going on and how she was feeling. I was like, I better phrase my words very carefully so I don't get wrath. Because her dad didn't phrase his words carefully, and then he got the full brunt of the wrath. And the funny thing was, right when we were in the car, I told Mariel, I was like, your dad is in trouble. Because I know when a man is in trouble. I was like, he should be quiet because he's going to get wrath. And I knew because she did this thing that I think a lot of women do. It's when they don't want to make a scene, they'll do this evil smile. They'll do this thing where it's like, oh, okay. Okay. And your mom did that laugh. And I was like, oh, your dad's dead. I was like, you're dead. I'm like, you should stop talking. Don't do this anymore. Because he was trying to lighten the mood and make jokes, but your mom didn't want any of that.
No.
And I'm like, Pops, just stop. You're going to die.
My mom wanted someone to be on her side. But realistically, everybody was not, I can't say it's on my side, but they were just being rational. And my dad was just, enjoying the time. He was having a great time and he was just being realistic.
So explain to them what happened exactly.
Okay. My mom has a thing about hats. She loves hats. Incredibly loves hats. And another thing that she loves to do ever since I was a kid is for me to wear a hat. Every time we go out, hat is required. So basically, I'm an only child and I'm a pretty tomboy girl. My mom, on the other hand, is a very, very, the most girly girl you could ever imagine.
And I'll put it to you like this. I've seen her for 7 years. I don't know what the top of her head looks like because she always wears a hat.
She's very well put together for herself. She's like a walking human doll. It's yes. Actually really adorable. And I think she has this desire that her daughter will be similar to her, if not a copy version of her. So she always tries to dress me up and has this like ideal daughter where she could shop together, like, you know, wearing the same hats and outfits, I guess. Basically be mini her. But unfortunately, I have my dad's genes where I'm very tomboy, I'm very minimal. And I just don't wear a lot of hats unless I need it. And so,
and by the way, when we say hat, we're not talking about like the cap on her head.
No.
I'm talking about like the Sunday church hat. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like wide brimmed top hat type of thing.
Yes. A fancy hat. And here's the thing. We were just done swimming and I didn't have any makeup on. I just had a very casual outfit. I didn't expect to wear a hat that day. And so it already started off wrong for her because I am not looking like the doll that she wants me to. And so she's like, can you please at least wear this hat? And I was kind of upset already from there because I know what that meant. And so I still did. I mean, I had to say what I had to say, but I still did. And at the dinner, how she compared, I don't want to say that part actually, but basically she was still, it didn't meet her satisfaction that I just wasn't wearing the hat the way she wanted. So she was just upset that I couldn't be the girl, the daughter, where in the past I let her do what she wanted, you know, me to do, like dress me up, be the doll, get compliments from others, like how great she's well put together, because now she can't do that. And I think because she's also aging, she was so upset.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very weird thing to watch, right? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people who have parents who are a little overbearing, they kind of look at their kids as if they're always their kids, no matter how old they get, right?
Yeah.
Your mom definitely is on a little bit of the extreme side because in her opinion, she goes, listen, I only see you every now and then, right? How come you can't just do what I tell you to do, right?
Yeah.
Which, okay, logically, I guess for me, I'm like, I guess that kind of makes sense. However, the problem with that, and I think for a lot of, maybe this is like an Asian American parent thing or an Asian parent thing, it could be other cultures too. I don't know what to compare to, but it's almost like you want me to be your object for a day. If you put it like that, does it sound great? It doesn't sound very good, right? And for her, like I was talking to your dad, right? Because so she fucked up twice apparently because when we were swimming, she asked her mom to bring her blow dryer. Well, we brought it with us back to our place, and she needed her blow dryer for Sunday because it's church. And so she was super, super pissed. So I drove over there to drop off the blow dryer.
Mind you, she wears a hat at the
yeah, she still wears a hat. I don't understand what's going on. But so I had a conversation with your dad, and your dad was kind of explaining to me what happened. And it was just like, I think for me, when I see that, right, it's a little bit of both things, right? Because I talked to my mom about it too. And I asked my mom, like, what do you think? Mm-hmm. And she said that, well, no matter what, as a parent, the kid is always their child, and they're only going back to this moment from when they were a little kid. Yep. Right. And the thing that threw me off, that was so blatant of your mom, which I actually appreciated the honesty. It was just the honesty wasn't great because she said that, I remember when you were a kid and I used to take you out and people used to compliment me about how great you look. I was like, oh, so this is about you.
Absolutely.
It's not about your daughter. It's because you missed the compliments that you got when she used to dress you up as this little cute girl. Because when you're a little girl and you're dressed up in this cute little dress,
absolutely,
everybody thinks it's adorable, but your mom still wants to dress you up like that cute little girl.
But I ain't the little cute girl. I'm an older lady, if not an old woman now.
Yeah. Why do you feel like it's so hard for you to put on the hat?
It's not hard because I did put the hat on.
I know, but you put on the hat. I mean, this is just me giving you a second thought. It's like you put on the hat after fighting with her about it. You didn't.
Yes.
Because when she asked you to put on the hat, how come you didn't just put on the hat and say, okay, and then leave?
I almost have this trauma now. It's like an immediate reflection or yes, immediate reflection of me just automatically saying no because I'm so tired of it. Here's the thing. I was a good girl. So she told me to do something, I would do it. And I guess and I thought that was doing the right thing, which I think in some way it is, but another way, it didn't help me develop boundary between her decision and my decision. And so if she wanted me to do something on like not for me, but like about something to change about me, I would do it because it made her happy. But now I have an opinion and I have my own, opinion of how I want to be shown, to be displayed. And me saying no is like a huge impact on her now because I didn't create that boundary when I was younger. So now it's upsetting her because she thinks I'm disrespecting her request.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was the hard thing for me to connect, right? It was when she was saying she couldn't wrap her head around the fact that you had this option to say no, right? Which to me was like, oh, I mean, for me, it's a little extreme, right? It's like every person has the option to say no to the things that you request. Yeah. You don't have to say yes. Yeah. Like, in what world does anybody have, like, unless this is a dictatorship and you have to and you're going to die, I don't understand. I guess that was the hard part for me to kind of wrap my head around because when we were walking into the restaurant, she's like, can you get her just to say yes to me all the time? And I'm like, I don't think that's possible. Like, I don't.
See, that's the thing. Can you just say yes all the time when we meet up? Prior to that dinner, I don't remember the last time we went out for dinner because of COVID. So we ate at home a lot. Yeah, we did a lot of takeout. Yeah. So therefore, we didn't have to wear hats. But can you imagine if COVID wasn't there and we met up every time asking me to wear a hat?
Well, I remember when we first started dating and you were meeting up your mom, you wore a hat, you did your makeup, you did everything.
Yes.
Like you had jewelry on. I'm like, what the hell is this? And it was because you were meeting up your mom.
Yes. There is a requirement to meet up with my mom, and especially if we're going out, which I am fine to do. I do it. But we just came out of swimming. So, the fact that she asked me to put that hat on, it meant something. It meant she was commenting something about my look, commenting something about, how it would visually look, how other people would think of me.
That's the hard thing about being in a Korean community.
It's so big.
Yeah, especially like a Korean church community too, because a lot of the actions that we do, we think about it in terms of how it represents us all the time, right? Which to a certain extent, it's good, right? Because now we're thinking about community. And I actually like that about Korean culture a lot, but there's a point where it becomes very toxic, where now every move that you make is based on what you think somebody else is going to say about your family, about how you present yourself. When in reality, it's like, is that really a way to live? There's a fine line between like excessive and too much, excessive and then just the right amount, right? And I think that for my personal experience as a Korean American, going to Korean churches, like we've seen it. Like we've seen parents go, oh, we're going to the restaurant. That person right there goes to our church. Make sure that you kind of present yourself right. If not, they're going to say something. Yeah.
And I totally understand that. I totally understand if you're in that community and you want to be in that community, you kind of need to bend and, I
mean, they talk a lot of shit.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with that drama. So you do your best to eliminate those. And I totally understand that. And my mom was, and I guess still is, in that community. Totally understandable. But the question comes down to like, is your priority that the society, you make the society more positive or like then I guess it's just like, are you thinking more of this?
Do you feel that she takes precedence over other people's happiness versus yours?
I don't know if it's a happiness, but it's the compliment. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they're happy seeing me like wearing a hat, but it's the compliment that comes with it, the opinion that comes with it. I think that sometimes is more of a priority than how I feel.
Yeah, because the way she worded it made it seem like she misses the times where she used to receive the compliment versus she misses the times when you used to quote unquote present yourself more whatever the word is, ladylike or presentable in her eyes, right? Because the one thing I do want to clarify is not like Mariel is against, like if her mom wants to do the classic K-drama, mother-daughter thing where they're like, 우리 딸
쇼핑하러 갈까?
너무 예뻐. I don't think Mariel has anything against that, right? Yeah. I think the problem comes is where like she doesn't get to show her identity in it, right? So if Mariel goes out and she dresses in this pretty dress, she does her makeup a certain way, and she comes out and her mom says, this doesn't look good on you though. You need to wear it like this. Yeah. And that's where that issue comes in. It's like, listen, I'm okay doing the stuff that honestly like would make you happy and I would probably enjoy too. But the boundary isn't there where she tends to like, I think, hurt your feelings, with the things that she says.
Before we continue, my lovely genius farts, thank you for keeping this podcast sponsored and going. Click on the links of our sponsors and check out their stuff, because this podcast is brought to you by Purple, my friends. Purple mattress, the best mattress ever. The mattress I dream of every day because it helps me sleep every night. Whenever I am traveling, all I do is think about my lovely, lovely mattress. Not my wife. She's on the, second tier list, I guess. Just kidding. I love you very much. Don't listen to this, my dear, because, I love my Purple mattress very, very much. Sorry, the Gel Flex Grid is amazingly supportive for your back and legs while cushioning your shoulders, neck, and hips, no matter how you sleep. If you have been sleeping on a spring mattress or any other mattress, guess what? You've been sleeping on a bag of shit. Get a Purple mattress. Be like me. It is worth it. We spend so much time sleeping. Why do you spend your money elsewhere? Get a Purple mattress. Getting a great night's sleep starts with having a great mattress. Get a Purple mattress. Go to purple.com/brain10. Use code BRAIN10 for a limited time. You can get 10% off any order of $200 or more. That's purple.com/brain10. Code BRAIN10 for 10% off any order of $200 or more. Purple.com/brain10. Promo code BRAIN10. Terms apply.
So, like, by the way, Mariel's mom is super fucking sweet. Like, her mom has the best intentions for everything. Like, I make jokes about how she literally grabs my head and prays for me. You know what I mean? And as weird as that is, that's a lot of great intention. She worries for me and she cares for me, And I think that's like the best quality about Mariel's mom is like how much she cares. Sometimes though, it becomes a problem when how much she cares and the things that she wants overrides what other people want. Right. There's no fine medium. And so for you, when I see that, I see like a lot of what I had with my dad when I was younger, right? But once again, like in this Asian family dynamic, boys get away with a lot more things than girls do. And I think maybe just in families in general.
And I think this, if I think about it, this is very, very integrated to Asian culture of, if I was the appropriate Asian daughter, I would never reject her request. If you think about it, if you see like people, like my friends and family in Korea, when visitors come or a request has been made, they make sure it happens. Even our friends, within among our friends, Asian American friends, because they have Asian parents, when certain things come around, they find it like, it's not appropriate, or if it's not, not something that they agree upon, they still accept it and move on with it, or, make sure that they're happy because it's embedded in their Asian culture. You know what I mean? Like they will be like saying like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. And then it could be very inconsiderate in one way, but at the same time, because they are your parents in Asian culture, you wouldn't reject their requests. You would make sure like, okay, I'll do whatever I can to help you parents because I'm your kid. There's no like, you do it your way, I'll do it my way. There's like none of those kind of conversations.
Yeah.
And I think because I'm more American, so when she sees that, and I'm sure she compares with her other, friends, kids and whatnot, like see that I'm not accepting or quote unquote respecting her request, she feels like she's being disrespected.
But that's the weird thing too, because when I had issues with my dad, one of the things that my dad had to come to terms with was the fact that, and this is what my mom was there for, right? My mom, albeit we do still argue, we still fight, but a majority of our conversations are great. She was the person that had to champion me. Like, she had to get my dad to understand, like, listen, you decided to come to the States. We didn't have to come here, right? You wanted this life. You thought that it was better for us. Well, guess what? You raised a kid in America, but you're expecting him not to be an American kid. And that doesn't make sense. You know, like that's not fair, right? You got to let him live the life that he wants to live. And if you wanted him to grow up with those ideals, we should have stayed in Korea, right?
A lot of second generation have the same feeling of that they can't figure out how to be fully American nor fully Asian, because sometimes when we're outside, we feel like we're very Asian, and when we're in the household, we feel very American. And neither of them are accepting who we are. And honestly, like, I give kudos to my parents because they work really hard to where they are. I mean, clearly they didn't like foresee this happening in their life, thinking that, oh, there's going to be a huge culture clash, blah, blah, blah. It's just like they're thinking the positive side. It's like, we're going to have a better life here, et cetera, et cetera. So their intention is good. And I have huge respect for my mother because she's a businesswoman. She came here with no degree, learning English on her own, and able to get a PhD degree on her own, and still studying till this day, having her own business and doing really well for her. And if someone asks me who's my idol when it comes to, or like a role model when it comes to, career, it's my mom, because she was able to do everything by herself. I wouldn't say my dad doesn't speak English. So my mom had to take care of all the legal contracts, real estate, everything on her own. And I think for someone who came to a country, didn't understand the language, and had to learn on her own and able to have a successful career is amazing. So that said, and she knows that she could speak English really well, even though she always says she can't. Like
her English is great.
Yeah. If she could run her own business by herself.
Yeah. Let's put it like this. Her English is better than my Korean. Like, she uses complicated English words that I wouldn't be able to use conversely in Korean.
And all her clients are not even Korean too.
Yeah. So her English is perfectly fine. She's just a little shy about it.
Yeah.
But when I hear her speak English, I'm like, no, your English is fucking great.
Yeah, I could talk to her English perfectly fine. Yeah. She understands everything. But that said, I can't blame her when she says that you're not Korean enough, because it's not like her intention was that she's going to have a baby here and the baby's going to be so American that she won't understand me. Like, I grew up learning Korean. That was my first language. I grew up with my grandma. So I am very immersed with Korean culture, as you know. Like, when I go to Korea, like, I could adapt very easily. Yes, I am still I still stand out as a Korean American, but at least I could get around without a problem. But nonetheless, even though I tried that hard, where I lived in Korea and try to be as Korean as I can be, I can't be in the Korean culture that my mom once lived. Because when we went to Korea, it was so different. The culture has changed.
Yeah, that was the thing
Koreans have changed so much.
That their mom didn't really understand. And I think even my mom doesn't understand, right? Is that what their version of what Korea is now is different. It's so different. And I'm talking about, this is one of these, I'd say this is my Korean pride coming in terms of how different Korea is. And this is within 20 years, right? I'm talking about 20 years ago. And so before, when I was 14 years old, and that was the last time I was in Korea, we had to go with a lot of gifts. And by gifts, I mean stuff that honestly over here is just next to nothing. One of the things that everybody brought: shampoo, conditioner, Centrum, the vitamin Centrum, Neosporin. Was medicinal stuff. And the reason why was 20 years ago in Korea, a lot of the stuff that they had to get was from China. And there was no QC, like quality control.
Yeah.
And so they didn't know what was good or bad. People were getting like fucked up by a lot of these products. So before we went to Korea, we had to bring stuff that they knew was good quality, which was American stuff, because the standards were really, really good. And now when we went to Korea this time, mind you, it's been 20 years for me. I go there, they don't need shit.
They have literally everything.
And better.
Yeah, more.
And more.
Yeah.
And then some. So, and I bring this up because Mariel's mom's trying to be really sweet and she wants Mariel to be taken care of. So she wants Mariel to bring all of the relatives a lot of gifts. But the gifts that she was asking us to bring was, in my mind, I'm like, I'm pretty sure they have this stuff there, which was like peanuts, like nuts. You know what I mean?
They still liked it.
I mean, they still liked it, right?
They still loved it.
But literally the first day that we're there, we see a lady selling peanuts, like fresh roasted on the side of the road.
And the market had all kinds of
everything.
nuts.
We're talking pecans. We're talking pine nuts, walnuts,
yeah.
nuts galore.
They even have avocado.
Yeah, they have avocado. All this other stuff that we think is, privy to like the American lifestyle. Korea has it and then some, right? So when I saw that, I'm like, oh, her version of what she thinks Korea is not what it used to be, right? And albeit 30 years ago, this was very, very true.
Yeah.
Korea went through this hardcore like second wave industrial revolution in terms of like import, export, whatever the fuck that it is, that allowed Korea to be as great as it is now. When I went there this past time, I was amazed.
Even like within 10 years, everyone in K-Town were telling, or even our friends were telling how K-Town food is so much better than Korea because of the meat and the vegetables that we have.
Yeah.
We went to Korea this round. How was it?
It was literally the best Korean food I've ever had in my life.
There was nothing like, what do you mean? The meat was great. The
beef was amazing.
Yeah. And it was, not to mention, very cheap.
Yeah. And so for them, when they said that was probably true because 10 years ago they went there and we went there now. I was like, this food is substantially better than the shit that I've had in LA.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even compare.
Even the side dishes.
Oh yeah. That's the crazy thing. So when you guys like come to K-Town or whatever K-Town that you go to, I feel that when it comes to the banchan, right? That's side dishes in Korean. Those things are just there to kind of like pick at as you eat your other food. There's not a lot of like attention and care put into it. When we went to these Korean restaurants, the attention and care was in every single dish that came out, whether it was the banchan, whatever the hell that it was. It was very, very well cared for and presented very well.
And it tasted like it was all homemade. It wasn't made from a factory. Like it was in mass production. It felt like they made it in the kitchen.
Yeah, it was really, really, really good. I was so surprised at. Well, I guess it was a good thing people kind of said that because my expectations were a lot lower. And then when I went there, I'm like, this is the best Korean food I've had outside of my mom's food.
So that's, I mean, even if we're talking about 10 years, within 10 years, that much has changed.
20 years is crazy.
20 years is insane. Like they didn't, back in maybe in the 90s, I don't even know if banana was around. Like that's...
Oh, dude, that banana story was crazy, dude. So like, I guess in general, like her aunts were telling us like how much Koreans like coveted bananas.
Yeah, because they didn't have banana in Korea because it didn't grow, first of all. And there was an import of bananas. So
and they weren't allowed to import it.
Oh, is it? There wasn't? Yeah.
Yeah, because remember she was telling the story of how she brought the banana in?
So my grandma, this is like in the 90s or 80s or something. I think it was in the 80s. She was here in the US and she knew how much banana was so precious to Koreans. That's why there is even a song that has banana, what is it? 맛있는 banana. I forget how it goes. But there is a song where banana is involved where they said, if it's a good food, it's banana. But that's it. So she went to the airport, had a box of banana. And clearly you can't bring produce to the airport because you can't fly with them. But back then it was just, it wasn't as strict as it is right now. So I think my grandma really complained and also begged the people that, hey, my kids want bananas. Let me take some of the bananas. So she actually was able to take the banana to Korea. But that's how limited resource they had back then.
It's crazy. Like when I hear those stories, I'm like...
That's why the banana juice is such a huge thing. Or banana milk.
Yeah, banana uyu. Like I remember when I was there when I was 14 too, like it was banana uyu everything.
Yeah.
It was like banana flavored everything. I'm like, what the fuck is with this banana shit? I hated it. I hated it so much.
It's all nostalgic.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, just to go back to that conversation, like there is a lot of empathy when it comes to just our parents and like, Mariel's mom and even my mom.
Yeah.
Like we got into a fat argument because she didn't understand what the fuck I was saying. I was telling her like Korea is not the Korea that you grew up in.
Oh yeah.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's there's no hard feeling. Like I wish, I'm sure some people, if they're listening to, they'd be like, why can't you just wear the hat? Which I did wear the hat, by the way. Mm-hmm. But there was a little bit of friction back and forth because there's a whole history to it that.
Well, it's, for me too, it's also the idea that it's just do as I say because I say so. Mm. And to me, whether you're when you're a child, kids don't know very much and they're not fully autonomous in the sense that a lot of their choices are not going to be the best because they're young and they don't have life experience.
Yeah.
But you're in your 30s,
Yeah.
And so when somebody who you are an adult and another adult tells you, do as I say so, it's a little disrespectful, as a person, because even though she feels disrespected, I think if she took a step back and says, if anybody said to you, do as I say so, would you be happy?
Yeah, right.
And the idea is that when you say that, you're basically saying that I'm in control of you. I own you.
Yeah.
And because I own you, you do as I say. And when you don't do that, I feel very disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, my lovely genius farts. You know how much I love my BetterHelp. You know how much I love mental clarity. You know how much I love therapy because I've been using it my whole life, and BetterHelp just makes it so much easier, so accessible, and so affordable. I can't get enough of it, baby. You know me. I'm all about mental health. If you are focusing on your physical health, why not worry and work on your mental health, my friends? Because I know some of you out there feel helpless and a little trapped, and you might even feel that little bit of fatigue, but you can't figure out why. Well, guess what? It could probably be associated with burnout. It could be associated with the fact that you are not prioritizing your mental health. Well, guess what, my friends? BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Genius Brain listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/genius. That's betterhelp.com/genius.
There's no disrespect in a person who is an autonomous being to say, hey, I don't think I want to, especially because it's just a hat. Because if the idea is that it's just a hat, why can't you wear it? The same goes for the other way around. If it's just a hat, how come I can't choose not to wear it when it makes me uncomfortable?
Yeah. And not to mention, I do wear hats.
And she did wear the hat. She did wear the hat, by the way.
I did wear the hat, but other times too, when we're out and about, I do dress up the way that she likes so that she is pleased. I do that. It's just, that wasn't the day.
Then the hard part is too, and for a lot of people out there who are kind of, coming into their full adult form, right? Where they are like these independent beings. I've told this to Mariel years ago, and obviously she talked with her therapist, and obviously coming from, your significant other, somebody who's close to you, it comes off as nagging, but we talked about boundaries, and I think the way I expressed it, I don't think you really understood it. Obviously, because the way I explained it probably wasn't, it was so harsh, because I understood boundaries from a long time ago. And what I mean by that is that though from the outside, it may seem like, oh, just wear the hat, right? But to her point, what happened when she wore the hat was just the starting point.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if she wore the hat.
Yeah.
It was something else. And then it's something else. And this is what we mean by boundaries. And we have to be able to recognize, hey, is this just about the hat, or is this just something bigger thing? And the bigger thing was, when you were younger, you did exactly what I told you. And when I told you what to do, it made me happy. And so that's the overarching thing that's happening here. It's not just wear the hat. It's if I wear this hat, what else does this lead to? And it did lead to something else. Because when you wore it, it didn't end. It did not end. It went through the whole dinner. For me, it was quite entertaining. Because watching your dad just burn in my eyes was hilarious. And he
had no idea what was coming.
Because her dad was trying to be funny. He was trying to make jokes. And I'm like, bro, this is not the time. Like, I couldn't tell him to stop. I just wanted him to stop. I'm like, you're going to be in so much trouble. I saw the laugh. Okay. And you know what that laugh is? Everybody knows what that laugh is. You motherfucker, just wait. Just wait till we get home. And I saw it. And literally, I told her in the car, I said, hey, your dad's in big trouble. Watch. And then what happens? He called her the next day. He goes, oh my God, I got ripped apart last night. I was like, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, he was on my side. What can you say? Nobody was on her side.
I know I messed up a little bit too.
Even you weren't on her side.
Well, when I said that, I was like, oh, I fucked up.
It's fine. The main target is me. So,
yeah. I mean, I think that night she just wanted to be right. And then nobody was giving it to her. So it made her feel like, oh, everybody's against me, you know? And I understand that.
I mean, I guess in a way to make the night lighter, I could have just let her do what she wanted to do. But then again, that comes to the whole therapy conversation of making your own boundaries. I
think if you did that, it still wouldn't have ended. So I think in that case, I don't think just wearing the hat would have been enough.
I think if there is a dinner plan to go out, I'm going to be like, let me bring a whole outfit, top to bottom.
Yeah.
So, so then it's a complete set for her.
Mm-hmm.
So then we could just have a good dinner.
Yeah.
And I know that. We just went swimming, so I couldn't prepare for that. And I didn't expect that to happen.
I didn't expect it either. It was a little shocking. It was so funny.
Welcome to my life, David. So
Mariel's mom said something at the dinner table, which I disagreed with. And I wasn't like disagreeing in the terms of like, oh, no, like that. I was like, oh, no, I don't think that's the case. And when I said that, she did the smile again. And I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, I'm on her bad side, dude. So when I came to drop off the hairdryer, she didn't even come downstairs. You know what her mom was doing? Her mom was praying for her soul. I'm not even fucking lying. She was praying for Mariel's soul, asking God to like, hey, my daughter needs to just be a better person. Like usually her mom will come down and say hi to me. And I'm like, it's because I fucked up yesterday.
She didn't like anybody in that table.
I know. She gave me the smile. I was like, oh, I'm dead too. I was like, oh shit. I should have just said like, oh, probably. But I just disagreed. It was so hard.
Now you know. You're in the family now. You're on the same boat as me and my dad.
I know, man. It was so interesting. That was a really good bonding moment for me and your dad, though. I was like, oh shit. Because I remember in the car too, I wanted to ask Mariel, I'm like, how come you couldn't just wear the hat? But if I said that, it would have just been not a good thing. So I was like, in the car, I was like, how do I phrase this?
How did you phrase it?
Huh? I said something along the lines of like, I was like, what is the reason that you're against wearing the hat?
Yes, you did. I know. I remember how you phrased it.
I was in the car just thinking, calculating. I'm like, phrase this correctly. I just saw what happened to her father.
You phrased it actually very nicely where I could explain it.
Yeah, and it made sense too. Like it made sense.
And I appreciate that so much because if he just came up like, "Why couldn't I just wear the hat?" I'd be like,
I wasn't
dude,
gonna...
I just dealt with this. You really want to have this conversation?
Dude, at the dinner table, I love telling this story because this shit was so fucking funny. So when Mariel and I first started dating, right? And I think as a guy, I've always been taught to pick up the bill, right? And then Mariel too, by the way, she's very good at picking up the bill, especially when we first started dating. She was an intern and she wasn't making a lot of money. And so now that she has a stable job, now we either Dutch pay or, not so much Dutch pay. She'll pay, I'll pay, she'll pay, I'll pay, right? So one time we were going out to eat and this shit lightweight got on my nerves a little bit because she's...
This is all in his head, man.
No, it's not.
I was legit trying... Okay,
no, she was not.
Go ahead.
Okay, so literally the bill comes out, right? She goes, don't worry, I got this one. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm watching this girl go through molasses trying to find this card. I've never seen somebody move so slow in my life to pick up a bill. She's just like, okay, this is the card, by the way. Let me just show you. Okay. This is her cards, right? This is her going into her purse. La da 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 da. I wonder where my card is. I'm sitting here watching this. By the time she finds her card, I already gave my card. They came back with a bill.
Oh my God. Such a liar. I was just, I don't know why you think I was doing it so slowly. Maybe that's what you were saying. You're like, pali pali hai.
No, it wasn't pali pali. I was like,
you're all slow.
I was like, I've never seen somebody move so slow in my life. I thought you were moving at 120 frames per second.
Matter. I said I got it. So if I take all my time, as long as I got it, that's all that matters, right?
I've never seen you search for something so slow in my life. And you're a very fast-paced person. Look, if you want me to pay for the bill, just say so.
No, I could have really paid it.
You don't have to go do with this whole show.
When did I
Papa
ever
got
done
the
that
bill.
show?
Papa got the bill. Don't worry. Papa got it.
Okay, everybody heard that. Papa pay the bill 24/7 now.
I always do. Don't worry about it. I got it.
Okay. Thank you, Papa.
Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
I got you. Papa has the bill, dude.
Thank you, Papa. Why Papa?
Dude,
I never call you Papa.
She told me this funny thing too today, and this is the first thing that has ever happened to her.
Oh my God.
This is so weird.
Spill the tea.
So she got unfollowed by one of her friends, and she doesn't know why. And this is the weird thing for me, right? If I get unfollowed, I know why. I'm a loudmouth guy. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of weird opinions. I make a lot of jokes, and sometimes it rubs people the wrong way. Mm-hmm. So if they unfollow me, I get it. Mm-hmm. I 100% understand why. Mm-hmm. With you, I don't get it. You're not very opinionated about anything publicly. No. You don't really post anything too personal. No. Everything you do is just like your art, 할머니 stuff, or like stuff that we do in Korea.
Yeah.
And it's just like a regular Instagram.
Here's the thing. 99% of the time, I can't say 100 anymore, don't check if a friend follows me or not.
Yeah.
I don't. But somehow,
why would we?
Yeah, why would we, right? Because they're friends. So this friend, I've been saying to her every year, happy birthday. We keep in touch. I mean, we kind of lost touch to here and there because we have our own separate lives, but nothing
Went to the baby shower, everything.
Yeah, I went to go see her baby. Everything was fine. And we've been chatting on Instagram only to find out that she unfollowed me some time ago.
Like, this is a friend too, by the way. Mariel has never said a single bad thing about her.
Yeah, till this day, I still talk about her, right?
Yeah, Mariel mentioned like how much her mom loves her. Like, she's such like this pretty Korean girl. Like, you've never said anything bad about her.
It's a Korean girl, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the fact that she took the extra step to unfollow me, she definitely made it clear that we're not friends.
It's very weird though. I just don't understand why though. Like, what did you do?
I wish I knew. I don't know.
Because I do remember you telling me that you were saying happy birthday to her or whatever, and then out of nowhere, it was just like unfollow. Here's the weird thing about that. Usually when that happens, it's like zero connection at all, or there was like some type of event.
Yeah.
The thing that maybe kind of bothers me about that is that you guys were actually pretty close friends. You guys have been friends for a very long time. And that has never happened to me with any close person at all, unless there was a very cataclysmic event.
Yeah. I mean, we had our ups and downs, but we made it through. And I don't know. I think it's just very clear like how she made up her mind. But here's the thing. I've been thinking about this because it was just kind of mind blowing. I'm like, wow, what the hell happened? Like,
yeah.
So thing is that this is a vicious cycle for me, and I keep warning myself, is that any friendships that I make in a short time where we feel like we're so close and we click so well.
Oh, I talked about this on my podcast.
That we could talk about anything is an alarming sign and also a flag for me that I need to step back.
Pump your brakes.
Yes. And I like to have it slow pace. Like I kind of think of it as fire. Like I like to have those thick wood that last long time, burn long time. If it's one of those fire that just happens really fast, big, it'll end really fast too.
Yeah, and like I've mentioned this before, where I've talked about this, and I've used a very crass way of talking about it, which is fucking on the first date. And I say that a lot of girls do that though. A lot of girls do that thing where they go,
"Oh my gosh, we're best friends." Yeah,
and that shit used to always piss me off because I knew the end result. And it's not that anybody's necessarily bad or good or whatever. It's just that none of you know each other.
Yeah.
So you don't even know if you're actually really good friends. You don't know if you match well.
Exactly.
When you get to know somebody over time, you get to make the choice of, that's a bad quality. Am I okay with that? Because nobody's perfect. I have shit ton of bad qualities that my best friend deals with all the time. And he has annoying qualities that I deal with all the time. But I'm okay with it because we've built this relationship and this strong foundation over time.
The foundation is never made with those friendships, so it breaks through easily.
Was she a fast friend too?
She was a fast friend, but we also had long time being friends.
Like keeping in touch every now and then.
Yeah, keeping in touch. So I thought for sure that she wasn't one of those friends. But lo and behold,
I mean, it's all good. I think it's very weird that it happened that way.
Also, it's very embarrassing for me to say, oh my gosh, so-and-so unfollow me, because I never say that. That sounds so cheesy.
Well, it's not the fact that it's cheesy. It's more like if it's like some random person, yeah, it might be a little cheesy.
Yeah.
But this isn't a random person.
Yeah,
It's somebody
this is
you've known
like
for
a good
years.
friend, like for years, almost a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost a decade.
That's very, very odd.
But I don't know. So I guess she is one of them because...
Yeah, but that also kind of makes her a coward, though. Like that's a coward right there. It's like, listen, if I did something to offend you or you have an issue, then you should talk to me about it instead of this like subtle, weird way of just like not responding to birthday texts and all this other stuff.
She didn't respond though. That's the thing. She totally responded to every message.
Was just like, oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
you.
And that's it.
Yeah. It wasn't
But
much.
see, that's what I'm saying. That's some coward shit. Like, what a pussy. Like, you little pussy. Like, if you have a problem, just say that you have a problem and then we could hash it out and say like, oh, I'm sorry. Or we could be like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be friends, right?
Well, here's the thing. The fact that she didn't do it and she decided on her own, it's actually kind of worse because she's saying, oh, you're not worth to discuss and fix this problem.
It's not that. She's a coward. She's not somebody who can sit there and have a conversation with you and defend what she has to say, right? Because those type of people, if you confronted them and said like, hey, if I did something to offend you, right? And clearly you unfollowed me. I know this sounds really childish, but because you and I have been friends for 10 years, when you unfollow me, it makes me feel like I did something to hurt you. What did I do exactly? You know what she'll do? She goes, oh, did I unfollow you? I had no idea. I guarantee you that's what she'll do, especially when it comes to people who are supposed to be friends.
I know.
That's why I dislike it so much when people go like, oh, that's my friend. And I correct people now. And I go, we friends? I'm like, okay, I guess. No, we know each other, right? Because I don't want people to have the wrong idea of what we are, right?
Yeah.
Because having the right expectations also sets you up to be, sets up the friendship to kind of grow. Because yeah, for now we might be acquaintances, but we could be friends after a long time.
Yeah.
Like Nick and I he was my coach. Then Nick became my coach. And from my coach, he became an acquaintance. And from an acquaintance, he became a friend. And now he's a really, really good friend.
Yeah.
But that took what, 4 years?
That took a while.
Long time before I even let him in my house.
So even at work, before pandemic, like I would have a lot of coworkers I would talk to a lot. And so there could be like bond that we make, but that doesn't mean we're friends. So like, I take my time again with like coworkers, anybody. If they're trying to like get close to me real fast and be like, oh my God, what's your Instagram? Oh my God, we need to hang out, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, I'm the polar opposite. I'd be like,
and people, you don't need to do that to connect with somebody.
No.
You can have really good interactions and then have another good interaction and then another one and another one and then be like, hey, like I want to get to know you. Let's go get something to eat. Right?
Yeah. Like Savannah, who was my PA long time ago. We were just like, I like to keep things professional. Like, we're not friends, right?
At that time, they weren't friends.
At that time. And then I got to know her as a person because I working with her 60 hours every week. Like you get to really know people. And I really liked who she was. She was like, is a freaking hardworking lady who's trying to do her best. And she's always like 2 steps ahead. And I was like, I like this quality. And then so from there, we got to really bond. And then we left to other different studios, kept in touch, and then was able to hang out outside of work, knowing that, hey, actually we connect. It's not because of this like, and it took a long time. I think that was like, 5 years in? And then we finally became friends.
Yeah.
And Lord behold, we're still friends. Like we've gone through a lot of shit and stuff, but we're still friends. And I think it's because we know how we are.
Yeah, you guys got to have like these, like it's like when you train your shins, right? You get micro fractures and it comes back built stronger. Micro fractures build stronger, right? Versus having a full on clean break, your leg just snaps in half. Amen, everybody. That's how you do it. Muay Thai, baby. Let's go. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's like the calluses when you're climbing. You get your first flap. You're like, fudge, that hurts. But then it grows.
How is your comparison any better than mine?
I mean, hey,
what are you talking about?
I'm just saying, I'm going along with your analogy.
Yeah, like everybody's is just there's in such a rush to make connections and do things. Like, how come you can't just slow play things sometimes?
What's so sad though? Like, maybe it's not sad, but I fall for it so bad. Because I'm like, I really want that too. But then I'm
What
like,
do you want?
now I'm triggered. I've been triggered, but look.
No, but like, listen, it's not bad to be like, damn, this person was really cool.
Yeah.
It's just now you go, damn, that person was really cool. Hey, maybe next time we should hang out a little bit. But not go like, oh my God, this person, they're exactly like me. Oh my God, we think exactly the same. Impossible.
I mean, yeah.
Impossible.
Remember I told you that story about that onni that I got to know in Korea and she just disappeared on me?
Yeah, that's another great example, right?
We hung out every night. We literally hung out every night. I even got to see her family who lives in a whole different county. That's how close we got.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of nowhere, she went MIA on me. Like she ghosted me until the day I had to leave.
That's some cowardice shit.
And I don't know
if
why.
you have an issue or you have a problem, then let's talk about it. If you say we are friends. If not, then don't say we're friends and we'll just keep it cool like that. You know, that's just what I'm saying. Like, I'm not, I can at times be too straightforward, right?
Yes.
I'm very, 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 she knows this about me. I am not a non-confrontational person.
No.
I'm somebody who likes to put it out there. I've gotten a lot better now where now I pick and choose when I do it and when I don't, right? And the reason why is because when I was younger, I used to be so scared. Things would just blow up in my face all the fucking time. When I was a kid, I used to get my ass beat for just like doing white lies. And so now, because I'm so hyper open, is people get scared of that stuff. And I'm okay with that, right? Because the idea that my dad put into me when I was younger was that, you know what? There are so many bad things can happen when you're a dishonest and conniving human being that if you hurt a few people's feelings being an honest person, at least you know that you were right. You can live with that, you know? So the only difference is that my dad didn't teach me about tact. You know
White
what I mean?
lies, you mean?
Like white lies are just tact in general, you know? Like when I say things sometimes, even when I text people who I work with, I go, fuck, I think they're probably going to misinterpret that, even though I don't mean anything bad by it, right? Like, so I'll, like, for example, I sent an email out where it was like, hey, when you write things, blah, 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 are you telling me to correct this because is it a personal thing that you want? Or is it something that's within our company guidelines that I should adhere to? If it's something personal, you should probably keep that to yourself. And then we'll just keep it professional.
Ouch.
And so that sounds really harsh. But in my mind, I'm not even mad at them. I'm just like, oh, look, hey, we'll just separate the stuff out. And I just, at the end, I was like, if that's okay with you, let's continue forward with that. Let me know if you need anything else. And then in my mind, I went, that might be a little harsh. But I'm not angry though. I'm just like, oh, let's just separate. In my mind, I'm just saying matter of factly. And I'm going about my day. And I stopped when literally it was in the middle of the day. I went, I think I hurt their feelings. You know?
How did that come around?
Because usually that person responds back to emails a lot faster. And I'm like, they're probably like, oh shit. So I wrote back and I was like, hey, you did a great job, blah, 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 blah. I just want to know so I don't stress you out.
Yeah.
You know, just making sure that you're good, right?
Man, emails, the communication is so hard. I mean, you know, all these like friendships that went down the hole for me, I can't say it's like, I'm sure half of the reason is because of me.
I mean, who knows,
you
man?
know?
Like I've had a lot of friendships that went down the hole, you know, and I'm just completely okay with it. There was somebody that gave me the silent treatment for 2 years. I didn't even know. And they got mad when they found out that I didn't know that I got the silent treatment. And they got mad again and they didn't talk to me for another 2 years.
That's so funny.
Like legit, this person came up to me. They're like, so I'm done giving you the silent treatment. And I'm like, you gave me the silent treatment?
Since when?
And they were like, are you kidding me? I haven't talked to you like in 2 years. I was like, I know, it's been good. And I was joking. They did not take it very well.
No.
But I was like, listen, you got to understand, like, I don't know these fucking things. I'm continuing with my life. If you want to be upfront about something, then we could address it, right? Yeah. And I'll either apologize or we could hash it out, right? Because I'm not beyond saying sorry to my friends if I fuck up, right? Because we're friends. I care about your feelings to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So like, I just don't like that type of stuff. And listen, man, like one of the things that I could say that I'm very proud of is that you know this, I keep friends for a very long time. Like the friends that I've had for over 10, 12, 15 years.
Yeah, they're all your childhood friends.
They're all my childhood friends. I don't throw friendships away easy. If I threw you away, it's because you did something really, really bad.
What if you guys don't click anymore? Like there's nothing to talk about. We still stay
decent friends though. I don't cut them out.
Yeah.
You know, like we meet up, we'll have drinks, we hang out for an hour or two.
Here's the thing. that friend who unfriended me.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know what
like, honestly, like, how often did she ever hit you up? Did she ever ask how you were doing? Congratulate, and like those type of things too. Like,
Yeah.
like me and Gabo, right? Like, he's not even my best friend anymore. He's like blood brother to me. Like, I'd kill for that guy, right? And he's somebody who always calls on me. He checks up on me. We talk on the phone for like a couple of hours. We catch up. We joke around. Whenever he's successful in things, like, I'm always happy for him. He's always happy for my success. And that's the type of friendship I'm going to have forever. Like, he's somebody that I would fucking kill for. The same goes for Joe. Same thing goes for Bart. All these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once again, what is the biggest deciding factor of that? Time. That thing was time. Like, Gabo and I became probably best friends after high school. So, and that was like 3 years of friendship in high school. And then we started to realize, I started to realize, like, that's my best friend. Like, he's somebody that will never, ever do me wrong at all. And he'll take my side, you know, and even for him, like, I've made ridiculous promises to him, even like stuff because I want to support him. Right. And that's the type of stuff that I really, really cherish. There's even somebody who had on this podcast recently. His name is Tom. We talk to each other every now and then, seldom, but I respect so much what he does and just who he is as in general and how good of a person he is. He's somebody, like, if we have a wedding, I'd invite to my wedding, even though we don't talk that much. But because we have this mutual respect for each other, I cherish friendships like that too.
You know, there are good amount of friends who I barely see. I barely able to see them just because of physical distance. That I would totally, if I think about it right now, like, I would totally cherish those friends more
Than that person
who lives in the same
100%. Like, the person that you met in Korea, the person that was your boss before, that's somebody, when I saw you two interact, I'm like, this is real friendship. This is friendship. You guys pick up and you guys, it didn't seem forced. It didn't seem anything. It literally felt that you guys talk to each other every day.
She's a good example where it took some time for us to get close because she was my boss.
Yeah.
And I think she was waiting to see if, like, I would be a good candidate to be her friend, because I think she kept everything professional. And then I think she saw that we could click.
I think what I liked about her too, she's very, like, the way that she would speak to you was very open and honest about her feelings.
Yeah.
Nothing was really reserved, and you guys were just chatting it up. And it was just, for me, it was nice to watch. I was like, oh, that's a really good relationship right there. And those are the type of relationships you want to build. When you would hang out with her and the other friend, the mutual friend, you guys seem like very surface friends. Like, oh my God, bah, 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 bah. And I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah, it is very like that.
It's not like how you and Becky speak to each other.
Oh, hell no.
Like, her best friend, her name is Becky. And Becky, when I see them two, they look like siblings. The way they argue, they fight, they bicker. It's so obnoxious. But I'm like, that's real friendship though.
She's also your twin. It makes me really sad. I'm like, damn it, I picked a dude version of my best friend.
Like, but you guys have this, like, chemistry, and you know, and like the way they hang out, they just sit, they talk, they chat, they come over for meals casually. Like, it's nothing. Like, Becky can walk into this house at any time that she wants, and I would not care.
And you wouldn't even notice.
And I wouldn't even notice. And she's like, I'm taking a nap. I'm like, cool, whatever.
I brought some food.
I'm like, cool, whatever. You know, she's somebody that I'm really glad that she's in your life. You know, and that's the type of vibe that lady in Korea gave me. I was like, oh, you guys are like good friends. With this one though, I can understand where I didn't really see it. It was more like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. It was still very surface. Even 10 years have passed. You guys seem like very fun friends, very fun acquaintances.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And yeah.
It would be so funny. And she's like, I really did unfollow you by accident. Then she hears this and she starts crying. But it's like, whatever.
Whatever. I mean, that's a good point, because when I think about it, I know more about that Oni's family
than you do about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another great sign, right? Well, guys, that was actually a very good podcast. I enjoyed that conversation very, very much.
Look back and see your friends and see if you really know them or not, and then question about it.
Yeah, and set boundaries with your parents, dude, and be, you know, it's hard, man. It's always hard doing that with people who are close to you because it's uncomfortable. But just like anything in life, like, the uncomfortable parts is where you grow. I'm struggling with that shit every day too. It's not like these answers that I give you is something that I'm not trying to apply in my life. I have to apply it every fucking day, and it's so uncomfortable, you know? But yeah, guys, thank you guys for listening. Genius Brain Podcast every Sundays at 12 p.m. You can see Mariel at Mariel__song. And also My Harmony Story is where you can see her, who she should start working on her children's book, which I've been waiting for years. Giving her a little pressure. Give her a little pressure too. She needs it. And it's in a really amazing story that you guys will be able to listen to. And I think it'll be great. So hopefully I put it out that you have to put it out. So you have to know.
Okay. I'll try.
We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.